Konashenkov has been giving a news conference over the downing of a Russian plane near the Syrian coast and the subsequent decision to Moscow to deploy S-300 air defense systems to the country. Let's take a listen now into what he was saying. We're obviously talking about the airplane that was downed a week ago behind the Russian airplane. The blame has been pointing at Israel, and we're waiting for a news conference for the Russian Defense Ministry. We can cross over right now and listen in. OK, we're waiting for a press conference to happen now. The Russian Defense Ministry spokesperson Igor Konashenkov is due to give a conference over the downing of a Russian plane near the Syrian coast and the subsequent decision by Moscow to deploy S-300 air defense systems to the country. We're going to try and cross over again now and listen to what's been said.
Presented detailed information regarding the incident with the Ilyushin Il-20 that happened in the night of September 17. We directed our attention at some comments which are aimed at twisting the facts. We also studied the statement of the head of the Israeli Army of Defense. The statement reads that the F-16 jets were not hiding behind the back of the Russian Ilyushin Il-20. We'll give you additional data today which allows you to understand how, second by second, Israeli planes were there, as well as the S-200 missile was traveling the airspace. The information we have today had been received from the S-400 radar systems stationed at the Hmeimim air base. The resolution and the high-quality image supplied by this system allows us to understand how not only airplanes were moving, but also the ballistic missiles were traveling the airspace. This is the control indicators of the Hmeimim S-400 radar point. On the right screen, you can see the indicator which stands for the targets in terms of their place in the airspace, their altitude and exact location. With the yellow color, you see several aircraft identified by the S-400 system. These are Israeli jets. They were assigned numbers 125, 130, 149 and 045. These numbers were given by the system automatically. The green color are the aircraft registered by the friend or foe system operated by Russia. This is Il-20, numbered 007. The red color stands for new targets identified by the radars, including missiles shot by the air defense systems. On this screen, you can see S-200 surface-to-air missile shot by the Syrian air defense with the number assigned 158B. B means air ballistic target at high speed. When assigning numbers and letters, the system works automatically, relying on the characteristics of these targets. You can clearly see on the screen where S-200 missile was traveling after shot by the air defense system. Here you can see the Russian plane and the Israeli jet. So it's clearly seen that the trajectory goes all the way to the Israeli jet. On your left screen, you can see the indicators which stand for the altitude and the distance at which these aircraft were from the system. As you can see, that very moment, 3 Israeli jets were patrolling this area at the altitude above 7 kilometers. The location of the indicator radar screen is marked by the yellow color. They have their numbers 140 130, and one more number, 149. This is number which stands for the Russian plane was at the altitude between 9 and 10 kilometers, close to a Russian plane. And it was just on this trajectory where the missile was traveling. S-200 missile was traveling to the jet, Israeli jet numbered 149. You can see that the altitude of the S-200 missile is above the Israeli plane and above Russian plane. Look at the next slide, please. At 10:02, the missile caught the highest cross-section in the area. That was the Il-20 Il-20. As you can see, the missile first traveling to the Israeli jet moved to engage Il-20. Here you can see the moment when Il-20 was struck by this missile. It's 22 hours 02 minutes. Israeli jet hiding behind Russian Il-20 stays in the area for patrolling to the west of the Syrian coast. Other three Israeli jets continue to be patrolling in the airspace to the west from Latakia. On this slide, you can see how the situation was developing after the tragedy. Russian Il-20 disappeared from the radar. I'd like to turn your attention to the fact that the Israeli F-16 was in that area. Nonetheless, very close to the place of the tragedy. Look at the number of this air target. It's changed. That stands for the fact that it changed the direction of its flight and its altitude. All this has been documented by the radar of the S-400 air defense system of Russia. Colleagues, the data we present to you today, they not only show, they prove that the blame lies on the Israeli Air Forces and those who made that decision to conduct that operation. Again, I'd like to underscore that these provocative actions on the 17th of September were conducted in the area where not only military but also civil aircraft start their descent to land on the main air base. So all the statements made by the Israeli military that Israeli jets have nothing to do with the tragedy which took the lives of 15 Russian personnel members have nothing to do with the reality. Colleagues, during the special briefing, which was held on the 23rd of September, we laid out in detail the information regarding the catastrophe of the Russian Il-20 aircraft near the coast of Syria, which happened in the evening of the 17th of September. You've been listening there to the Russian Defense Ministry spokesperson Igor Konashenkov giving new evidence on the downing of a Russian plane off the Syrian coast. Lots was said there. They showed radar pictures that were taken from the Khmeimim base showing several aircraft identified as Israeli jets, as well as where the Russian planes were on that tragic night, the 17th of September. Now, they confirmed that the Il-20 went down on the local time 10 p.m. there. It was a color-coded presentation, and he said that you could clearly see on the screen the Russian and Israeli planes, and it showed 3 Israeli jets patrolling the area, and the radar showed the moment the Israeli aircraft hit the Russian aircraft at 2200 and how the situation developed after that tragedy. The MoD said that the Israeli jet S-200 hid behind the Il-20, and then that tragedy happened. Now, reports are suggesting the US Deputy Attorney General is about to leave his position. That's just days after media alleged